Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to Crabs Trades. I hope you guys are doing well. Today, what we're going to be going over is one of my favorite concepts. We're going to be going over SMTs, how I use them, why I use them, and why they're actually one of my favorite concepts in trading overall to catch reversals, as well as something that I use mandatory for every single one of my setups. So if you guys want to learn something new today, if you guys are still on your trading journey and this isn't a concept that you use, or you just want to see how I use it, then make sure to watch all the way till the end of this video. I'm not going to make this video too long, so make sure to watch all the way till the end because I will be dropping some gems in between. Also, if you are new here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe before we get into the video. But yeah, all that aside, let's get into it. So first thing, pretty much SMTs are a very simple concept. We have ES on the right and we have NQ on the left. When ES takes out a high and NQ doesn't take out a high, that's a SMT. You can see right here I have the indicator right here. I honestly don't recommend to use the indicator because sometimes it is off, but this just really helps you visualize it right now. The only thing with the indicator is that sometimes if there's equal highs on ES, it'll count it as an SMT when it's actually not. So be careful if you guys are ever using the indicator. I only really use it if I'm trading on my phone, but then I would always double check to make sure that it's actually an SMT. But yeah, let's get into it. So overall, all that an SMT is when one asset takes out liquidity when the other doesn't. So say that we have NQ right here on the left, right? And NQ and ES are both correlated assets, so that's why I actually keep both of them on the screen. So if we pull up ES here, if we throw ES on the right, and if ES did not take out liquidity just like in this example, then that would be the SMT right here. So NQ took out liquidity, ES did not take out liquidity, right? Very simple. That's literally all that it is. So NQ swept out this low, swept out liquidity, ES did not. That's a strong indication of a reversal because one asset took it out and the other didn't, as well as this can be vice versa. Of course, if ES takes out liquidity just like this, then we have an SMT. Also, in a bear scenario, let's take a look at that as well because this is a bullish scenario. SMTs at the lows are bullish and SMTs at the highs are bearish. So let's take a look at a bearish scenario right here. Let's just say NQ takes out liquidity at the highs, right? We're going to throw ES right here as well. And let's say that ES does not take out the liquidity, right? That is now a bearish SMT. SMTs are a very simple concept, and once you get them down, they will really help you kind of read where price is going, because personally, I use it for literally everything. I use it for bias, I use it for my entries as well, and it's one of my favorite concepts because of how simple it is and how it basically helps identify a reversal before it happens. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to keep this video too long, so let's dive into the live market right now and take a look at this in live time. And let's also take a look at external SMTs. All that an external SMT is, it's just a higher time frame SMT pretty much, as well as if we have a SMT with like session liquidity. Those are some of my favorite SMTs to use for bias. If we have a SMT with previous day high or low as well, very good for bias if we have SMTs with those, because session liquidity as well as previous day highs and lows, there are a ton of orders sitting above those levels, and when price forms a SMT with it, we can often see huge reactions out of it. Let's see if we can actually find an example right now. So for example, right here, the assets are actually very uncorrelated between ES and NQ. If we pull up ES here, can see right now we actually currently have an SMT at these highs just like this, very uncorrelated. So we'll see if we keep dumping or not. It is possible that we could dump because ES took out all of this session liquidity and left the SMT, bearish SMT. So it is possible that we could dump, and session liquidity SMTs are some of the strongest SMTs that I use. They give some of the best reactions for bias. An example of an external SMT as well is 15-minute and above, I would say. For external, you can see right here is an example of a bullish SMT. Why? Because ES took out this low here and NQ did not, right? So ES swept out liquidity right there. NQ, it did not. And you can see the big ass move that we had off this SMT, right? So this is where SMTs can become very powerful because they're basically an indication of a reversal before the reversal actually happens. And I'm going to show you guys how I would now use this for my entry. So I can use an external SMT for my bias, and then I'll scale down to the lower time frames and look for an entry. So for my setups, I love to have an internal SMT. So let's actually take a look and see if there was one for this setup over here. Yeah, so if we actually take a look here, all right, so first thing for my bias, right, I'm using this external SMT that we have at the lows, and I found the external SMT by going on the higher time frames, right? With higher time frame swing highs or lows, or session liquidity, or previous day high or low, that's the external SMT. Then if we scale down here, you can see we actually now put in a internal SMT right here. Also, this isn't like a staged example. I actually just found this move right now, and this just shows how often it actually happens in the live market. So let's take a look here. If we look at ES, right? ES swept out liquidity, taking out this low, correct? Took it out right there. NQ, and never took out that low. So then I can use that internal SMT for an entry. We already have an external SMT. So these lows here, I see them as protected lows because of that external SMT. So if I'm bullish, obviously everything else has to line, your bias, everything like that. If I'm bullish on the higher time frame, I'm not looking for price to come back down here because there's a SMT already put in at those lows. So now that we have an internal SMT, I can then look for longs. And obviously this has to align with all of your other confluences, like here, for example, it looks like we're rejecting a bullish breaker as well. But I'm just trying to focus on the SMTs only in this video, just to make sure that everybody has them down. But yeah, this is a very simple concept, and the external SMTs is what I use for bias a lot. And then the internal, like this one right here, for entry. So ES took out this low, NQ did not. Boom, let's see if we had an entry, inverse order block, or iKebab, whatever you want to call it. Stop loss SMT low. Right here, look for 1 to 2, just base hits. Stop loss always at the SMT wick low because that's the most protected point, and you can see a stop actually never got hit. And like I said, this was not a staged example. I just found this right now, like in the market, and this just shows how many times this actually plays out. And you can see just delivered and stop loss never got hit because I always put my stop loss at the SMT wick low just because it's a protected low in my eyes. And if your drawn liquidity is correct, then more times than not, price will just deliver. But yeah, overall, just wanted to do a quick little SMT video for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment the letter W, just drop a W in the chat if you guys enjoyed this video and if you learned something. If you didn't learn anything, then this was just a good refresher overall to have. And yeah, SMTs are very powerful. It's something I use a lot in my trading. It's honestly one of my favorite concepts. It's helped me to become very consistent in my trading as well. And it's just such a good reversal indication. And obviously you got to align it with other things, not just using SMTs, but they are one of my favorite confluences to have in my trading, and it is a mandatory thing that I need before my entries. Subscribe if you're new here, and if you're new here, welcome. Also, if you are a newer trader or if you're struggling to get funded over 6 figures with prop firms, I actually have a offer right now where I actually guarantee to work with you one-on-one until you're funded over 6 figures with prop firms and until you start to receive your first ever payouts. And that's also backed by a guarantee. It is the first link in the description. There are only a few spots left right now because we did launch yesterday. So if you want to get in, book a meeting and we'll see if you're a good fit to work together with me. Yeah, and also I only work with serious traders. So if you want to book an appointment, you can see if you're qualified to work with me, if you're serious. More videos just like this coming very soon. Until next time, hope you guys are having an amazing trading week. Hope you guys are back testing, putting in the work. Until next time, peace out.